Hi, I'm Scott,
And I'm Andrew, and thank you for joining us for Hebrews Podcast.
where we talk about our personal experiences being dads in the day-to-day life of raising kids.
And coffee.
Lots of
Lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee. Well, good morning there.
Good morning.
How's it going today?
It's going. We're getting some snow. And
Getting some snow. A big snowstorm. Apparently, it's in the whole country, not just us.
yeah, apparently it's like
pretty cool.
the biggest in whatever. I think somebody said like 5 years that the country's going to experience or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
man.
heard that it was the biggest storm that Minnesota could have ever gotten if
Really?
it pans out the way it's going.
Yeah, because I
Seems
actually
pretty big.
no, I heard because there's spots that are getting like easily 2 feet, like in one day, like because we're supposed to get like
Wild.
what is it? Isn't it
Like 18
10?
inches.
Oh,
at
really?
the most. That was the top range. And I
Oh,
always look
okay.
at that because I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
If I think it's going to be that and I get less, I'm not upset.
Then right, and it's
but
not-
if it's like, oh, it's only like 10 inches, and then I get slammed with like 16 or something, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh no.
yeah, but we're supposed to get it over the span of a couple days, and I think they're just getting like just smacked with it right away. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh gosh, that would be nuts. But it was it would be fun. We did get snowed in. I've always said I wanted to get snowed in once.
Snowden
And,
is an exciting thing.
yeah, we did a couple of years ago. What was that? That April. It was like April 20th or something. April
Yeah, you know what?
22nd.
It's funny actually. That was a big storm.
Yeah.
But we were moving here, so we were here like the weekend after that storm.
Yeah.
House hunting, and there was snow all around. I was like, I don't know if I want to be here. It's like the end of April,
And
there's
there's
like,
still a bunch of snow. No, it's not
oh,
okay.
yeah, no. But spoilers, we moved here,
Spoilers.
so
And we're glad you did.
I'm glad to be here. It's not the worst. Could be worse.
I did. Could live in like I don't know,
Minnesota,
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah, that's lame. Well, guys, thanks. We're glad you're here. If you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All that fun jazz.
Otherwise, if you're listening on Spotify or Podbean,
Podbean. That's
you
our
can
host.
yeah, you can follow there. You can follow the through Spotify or Podbean. You can also download it, which is pretty cool. And then also check us out on Instagram. We've got an Instagram that goes up. We try to post at least once a week.
Yeah, we post cute pictures of our kids that we
yeah.
talk about often.
Yeah.
Or we post links to the podcast.
Yeah, so be
So-
sure to check that out, whether you're on Spotify, Podbean, YouTube. Check out the Instagram and like, comment, and subscribe.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want to send us an email, the Hebrews Podcast at
Hebrews
gmail.com.
Podcast.
And hold on a second. I have a special thing. We had an email from a viewer.
Email from a
Email from a
viewer.
viewer. I don't know if I'm signed into Gmail here in this. That's not what that is.
That's
I'm not. Are you signed into your email over there?
Let me see. I think
'Cause
so.
we're going to pull it up and we're going to read a little bit. There's some pointers. There's some helpful questions.
There is.
And
There
we'll
we go.
see.
Do you want to read it?
Well,
Or you
go
want me to
ahead and read it. This is from Jonah.
Our
Thank you so
friend
much, Jonah, for
Jonah.
emailing in. Appreciate it greatly.
And he says a few things he would like us to talk about would be our favorite dad jokes,
Oh, dad jokes are
which
great.
are always great. Dad jokes are always fun. We could do some of those sometime. And then we've also got would you guys go as far? Oh, he's just asking if what kind of different methods of making.
He wants to see us
coffee.
do different methods of coffee, which is exciting.
Exactly what we did
It's
today.
exactly what
we'll
we've
get
done
into that.
today, yeah.
And then he also asked a pretty cool question that I think we're definitely going to answer at some point. It says, how do you see yourselves either replicating or intentionally avoiding ways you were raised? Would you be willing to talk about how your parents' parenting methods may reflect in the way you guys raise your kids? That's a really good question.
It is
And I
really
think-
good. It's a little dangerous because my mom watches the podcast here. No, I love her, and I know that parenting is a hard job to do.
Oh,
so.
yeah. I think we could dive in. We won't dive into that one this week.
No,
but,
but it's a good topic for sure. We'll make sure to
yes.
keep watching, Jonah, and we'll get there.
Yeah. As
Tell you
far
all
as
the dirt
different-
about how we were raised.
Yeah, the different kinds of coffee. We actually have a new way, not a new we're genius way.
We're genius.
This
We
has been
created
around
a
for
way
a
to
while.
drink coffee.
But we want to try something new, and so we have a espresso machine. I was at an in high school, I was corrected a lot because I used to call it espresso.
Espresso makes it go really fast. It's express.
Express. But then some coffee snobs were like, it's espresso.
Espresso.
And I was like, okay. So now I always call it espresso.
Well, that's because it is espresso.
Yeah.
So you should call it that.
Yeah. And I've never really like dove into the world of it until like recently when I was like,
oh, it's great.
It's
not as hard as it looks.
No.
There's like a science to it, and that's why I enjoy.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
So we have some espresso. We have 2, I think it's, what was it? Death by Coffee?
Death by Coffee espresso roast, yeah.
And I've had it a few times now, and I thoroughly enjoy it. But we have a different flavor syrup that I'm trying, because I got the s'mores flavor for Lainey and Lainey's sister Ansley, because they like sweeter coffees. I'm trying to get Lainey into the coffee drinks.
The sweetness is how you get people to
s'mores.
drink coffee. Honestly, I think I might have said this, but my wife never drank coffee before. And she would always like vehemently say, I don't drink coffee. And then we'd go to like Dunkin' Donuts and she'd get a Dunkachino.
Dunkachino.
And she's like, it's not coffee. I was like, it's coffee flavored.
Yeah.
At the very least, you like coffee. But that's debate here or there. And then she started drinking coffee heavily in med school and stuff. But
And then I tried something else new today.
Oh yeah.
I've always heard of the whole breve concept of using half and half instead of 2%.
Oh.
Look at that! I'm already like diving deeper into espresso, and I've only made like I could probably count on 2 hands, like 6 drinks.
I could probably count on 2 hands. 6 usually fits on 2 hands. It's hard to fit on one though.
Unless you're the guy
Antigua
from
Montoya's father, murderer.
Good old Princess Bride.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we're excited. We'll give these a little sip, and
then we'll talk about our
what's
weeks.
in yours.
Mine, the same things, except I'm lactose intolerant, so I have oat milk.
Oat milk.
They milked the oat very nicely. Sorry, that was a motion that we didn't need to make. Yeah, so oat milk is just ground of oats. It's espressed into
It's actually
liquid.
pretty good.
I like how it.
like.
So I started with almond milk before when I found out I was lactose intolerant, but almond milk changes the flavor of coffee too much for me. It's like you're drinking almond coffee.
Yeah.
But oat milk, it's a little bit different taste, but
right.
it's not nearly as drastic as when I drink almond milk.
I'm trying to remember. Oh, there's a drink from Starbucks that they make. One of my friends told me to try it. It was like a shaken oat milk espresso, basically. And it's really, really good. But that was the first time I ever had oat milk in a drink, and I was like, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah,
because the same thing with soy. Like I was like, this. I can't remember why I tried soy milk. I think someone had told me, hey, try this drink. And I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah, I've never tried soy, but I've tried rice milk, which is also pretty similar to oat milk.
Wait, didn't you say you tried soy milk?
No, almond milk.
Oh, almond milk. Oh.
No, yeah, almond milk.
I've had almond milk just straight, and I was like, yeah, no.
No, yeah. Oat milk straight is more like a milk to me, too.
Yes.
And it's hard because I used to love drinking just milk.
Yep.
As a milk
now
drinker.
you can't.
I can't.
No,
Anyway,
you
enough
can't.
talking. Let's get to some coffee.
Oh, yeah. And there's a nice film on top.
A nice film.
Ching.
There we go. I don't know how to, like...
Oh, that's good.
That's good. That's yummy.
Breves.
Got it in my mustache.
Not too sweet.
No, not at all.
And that's what I like about, especially making these espressos my way, is because sometimes I feel like coffee shops can be kind of hit or miss with, unless you get the same thing every single time.
That's what I usually do too.
Yeah, you fine tune, like, oh, I need only 1 pump of, whatever, French vanilla. But I also have, it's sugar free, so that also eliminates a little bit of the sweetness too, but not too much. So
how was your week this week?
It was good.
Yeah.
It's been a week. It's just one of those weeks that just coming off of just those big events, and then gearing ready for another event this weekend.
I was gonna say, you're not done yet. This is like event season.
Yeah. But it's been good. Just trying to get a lot of stuff done. Trying to continue to plug away at our t-shirts and
that's right. Yeah, there's no cricket in the background.
Yeah,
today.
no cricket today.
No.
We got all that done. I still got to work on some of that. But other than that, it's been a fairly just normal week, I guess, besides prepping for our Kalahari trip with the kids, which is going to be fun. It's always fun just to go hang out at the Kalahari, but it's also like Petri dishes.
Is that a desert?
No. What is?
Is it an octopus food?
That's calamari.
Oh man, that was close.
Calamari. Yeah. Where does Kalahari come from? I don't even know actually.
I have no clue.
But yeah, so we're going there this weekend with the kids at the church. It's gonna be a super fun time. Gonna have to load up on the coffee though.
Sure.
Because it's
Kids.
Yeah, kids.
Now this isn't youth. This is young youth. This isn't like high schoolers.
Yeah, this is 3rd through 6th graders.
Oh, you're a brave man.
Yeah, so it'll be good though. It's just a lot of there's a couple services, and then we'll spend a couple hours in the water park, and
Exciting.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
So what about you?
Well, this week we going back to last Thursday when episode 5 hit of our podcast. That was Disney on Ice night for us. So we went up there and saw that with the kids. They loved it. They got all their souvenirs. They got popcorn. They got candy. It was a good time, but we sat pretty close to the ice, so we got to watch. I was like, all right, this is nice. These are good seats. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing. I had never seen something like that before. I watched like ice figure skating in the Olympics and such, but like they're doing like flips and those triple axels, and they're all dressed up in costumes like Disney.
Oh my goodness.
It was a lot of fun.
Like you take the element
production,
of like figure skating, and that's hard enough.
Yeah,
like,
and then make it a play and like.
Oh, yeah, well, because I've tried, like, I love skating. I love hockey. Mm-hmm. Like, I wish I could have played hockey growing up, but it just cost-wise was nuts. And my school didn't have a hockey team, actually.
It's usually a town thing, and until you get to like high school. But
yeah. But so I like to skate, and I can hockey stop, but I can only hockey stop one way. Like when my right foot goes forward, that's the only way I can stop. So just thinking of like. And I know, like, obviously, the more you practice, whatever, the better you get. But just thinking of, like, how those skaters do that stuff. And then you, like, not only, like, Olympic level is one thing. Like, that, they're just crazy.
Yeah.
But even just to be able to do, like, some of those spins is hard enough.
I know.
And then you add a costume on. And, I mean, throats are going to get cut like Blades of Glory.
There were some funny costumes, like, funny and, like, weird costumes. I mean, they were all Disney characters. But, like, they did the Aladdin scene where Aladdin gets genie, and they like multiplied all the genies. A friend like me, you know how in the movie they're all like dancing, and there's like a million genies in the background singing the song. They had everybody in genie costumes on the ice. It was just wild. It was fun. If you have kids, I mean you have kids, but if you guys have kids or not, if you're just Disney fans, to be honest, it's definitely worth watching. I saw there was a bunch of older couples just sitting there watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it'd be super fun. We're at that stage where Lainey and I have already talked about it. Like, we'd love to go do stuff like that, but it's like, what's the point now? Like maybe next year.
Wow. I just burped into the camera.
Maybe next year or the year after, because it's not that it's like Rylan won't remember, but it's that whole.
Yeah, he won't. Let's be honest. He's not.
Yeah, he'll have more fun next year than he would this year.
Yeah, and Eliza had a blast. She sat on my lap. She watched it. There were pyrotechnics. There were lights flashing, and she was just staring like happy the whole time. It was like amazing. It was great. And it was late at night too. It was like past her bedtime.
So she's like, oh, cool. Not.
I know. Also this week, we tried a new place, Primal Eats. Have you been to Primal Eats?
No, I've been wanting to.
Okay, so we DoorDash a lot because we're out in the sticks.
But in the sticks.
Ironically, Primal Eats is pretty close to us. But so we did DoorDash, and they have pizzas there. And we're like, okay, well, what kind of pizza? And we see that there's a mac and cheese pizza.
Oh, yes.
Now, I'll have you know, my 8-year-old Emily loves mac and cheese. Mm-hmm. And she loves cheese pizza. So we're like, this is a big win. She's going to love it. So we order it, and we tell her about it. And she goes, I don't want mac and cheese pizza. I want cheese pizza and mac and cheese on the side. Oh. And we're like, this is the worst.
Just scrape the top off.
Just sprinkle a little cheese. Exactly. It's like, no. So we made her mac and cheese, and she didn't eat the pizza. But... And, of course, my lactose intolerance. I ordered a Reuben from them, which has Swiss cheese. Sometimes I go for a little cheese here and there. It's not the worst, or it doesn't bother me at all. But the Reuben was really good. And they had a smoked corned beef on the Reuben. So it was,
I've never really delved into the corned beef and Reuben until recently. Oh. I'm like, I'm missing out. I was missing out.
I loved corned beef because growing up, we always had corned beef and cabbage for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
And I love that. And now that I'm married, Nina doesn't like the cabbage, and she definitely doesn't like the smell that cabbage does when you make it in a house. So I usually get like a Reuben sandwich from somewhere around St. Patrick's Day, and it's not a great substitute because if I'd made corned beef and cabbage, then I could make my own Reuben sandwiches for like a week.
Right.
But
well,
still,
maybe we'll have to try it.
Yeah, maybe you guys can come over. We'll make corned beef and cabbage, or we can order from Prime Eats.
I've never actually asked Lainey if she likes corned beef. Like, because I know I've talked about it.
It's a super fatty meat,
It's-
and that's
Yeah.
that's where Nina's not a big fan. She doesn't like the big fats on like meats and stuff.
Yeah, and where Lainey is like, I made her steaks for Valentine's Day. I made us steaks. I didn't just make it for her. I made us steaks. And I was talking about
Valentine's Day, you get your own steak, and I get to eat something different.
But she likes to eat some of the, not like the thick chunks of fat, but even like I try to cut out as much of the fat as I can. I know some people are like, oh, that's where the best flavor is.
You got to render
It's
it the
like,
right way. You're gonna leave the fat on when you're making it.
Yes.
Because the flavor gets into there.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what.
I know some people that are like, no, that's like one of the best parts. Like I eat that too, and I'm like, I don't want to be chewing for 10 minutes.
Well, that's when you gotta render it the right way. Then it melts in your mouth like butter.
Oh,
And not that you're doing it the wrong way. There's some that's just not doing it. But
Yeah. But we'll see. That'd be fun.
Yes,
Trying to make
corned
some
beef is
corned beef or corned beef hash. I've heard that's really good. But
yeah, actually, I like that as a breakfast food
yeah, with like some eggs.
with some eggs and an omelet.
Oh, now I'm getting hungry. Now
So
But yeah, it's been a good week. I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited to record again.
Yeah.
We've got not a super deep topic, but a different kind of topic.
yeah, we're trying to move away from the introductions. If you have more questions about us, please let us know. We'd love
Yeah.
to share our lives, and through discussion, I feel like you're going to learn more about our lives.
Absolutely.
But what I want to say right here before we get into the topic is, we're not trying to give you advice on how to raise your children.
Yes.
Only you know best for that.
Yeah.
You can pray about it. You can talk to your spouse about what to do with your kids and how to do it the best way. We're just sharing our experiences,
And they're
which
gonna
might be
differ between
wildly
us.
different
And-
between even us
Yeah.
and between what you do with your family. So it's important to know we're not saying you should do this with
Right.
your kid.
This isn't like the 3 best steps to be the best dad
Yeah,
or
exactly.
anything like
So-
that. Like, no, we're just want to have fun and talk about, what we're doing. And if you get something from it, awesome.
Yeah.
And if it's something that jives with your family and what you guys want to do, great. But this is just more of a
Yeah,
hey,
definitely
we're gonna
don't take
have
our advice.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to give it. We're not there yet at all, but I don't think we will be. I don't think we're advice givers here. We're just hanging out talking about
Absolutely.
our experiences, hoping
Yeah.
you can learn something from it, if anything.
Yeah.
Don't do it this way.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, today's topic, we're going to talk about the benefits and cons, the pros and cons of private schools versus sending kids to public schools
And I'd even add in like homeschools. a
or
little, too.
homeschools. You're right. I
Yeah.
didn't write that down because I had been homeschooled, and only weirdos are homeschooled. No, just
Hey,
kidding.
wait a minute. I have all 3 because I started out homeschooled. I was homeschooled till I was in 3rd grade.
Oh, okay.
And then-
That's not like homeschooling on the younger ones. I think this is the best option in my mind.
Yeah.
Because the socialization is still definitely going to be there.
Right. Well, that
And I
I was
think
going
if
to talk
that-
about that. That one of the big things that I think saved me as who I am, not because like just like my personality, like with being homeschooled at that young age, was my church friends.
Yeah.
Like that, and the fact that I had 4 other siblings that
Sure.
when
Big
mom,
families,
yeah,
exactly.
when mom got called, it was recess. So
Recess.
And the best part was our neighbors, right, one side, they were in the public school or private school system technically, and then the other neighbors were actually homeschooled as well. And so when either
Are
one
those
of
the weird
our
ones that I know too?
no, that's the one. They went to a private school,
Oh, they're still weird too.
and they know who they are.
They do.
But what we would do is like there was a secret call that we would have like as soon as one of our moms got a phone call, and it was usually our grandma's, and then all the kids would run out and it'd be a good time. But yeah. And then so I was homeschooled till 3rd grade, and then from 3rd through 8th I was actually in a private school. Charter school. So it borders private public, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
more
not-
private than
Sure.
it is public.
I understand. And this is what we were talking about a little bit off, the differences between charter and private. And it's something that I never thought of, because while I did go to a private school for high school, it was a private boarding school.
Right.
And it's
Which is
lot more
totally
private than
different.
a charter school.
Yeah.
It's like no one's really going to go to that school unless
Yeah.
you're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where a charter school like here in town, St. James, I think is a charter
Yeah,
school.
there's like the lottery,
Yeah.
not like lottery like you're winning money, but like they pull names and whatever, and depending on if you have like if one of your kids get in, that puts the other kids at a higher whatever odds of getting in, and so yeah. But I've experienced all, because then in high school,
Very cool.
I was at a public school.
Public high school. That's I actually experienced all but homeschool. So from kindergarten to, I don't think I did preschool. I think I was at home for preschool and then went kindergarten. But anyway, that's not here nor there. Some
Preschool is
people
one of
don't do
those
preschool.
things.
Some people
Yeah,
do.
it's
It's like I
it-
put my kids in preschool because I felt like they could learn
Yeah.
and they could benefit from it. So
Yeah.
yeah, why not?
It's one of those things where it's like there's no wrong way, I guess, as long as you're helping.
There's many ways to skin a cat. I don't know why
don't-
that's saying. I'm pretty sure there's one way to skin a cat. By the way,
I don't want to know.
well, I mean,
And now
Anyways.
I'm thinking about it.
yeah, I was trying to think about other ways. Anyway, like I was saying, I went to public school up until I went to high school in 9th grade in Rhode Island, and then my family moved to New Hampshire, but not really. They were going to move to New Hampshire, so they sent me to a boarding school, and kind of like I went up before them,
Yeah.
and I lived there for a year. When I got there, their grades were curved. The point system was a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not a great student in 9th grade the first time. So I did end up repeating. Like, they gave me the option to either go to 10th grade and have to take the 9th grade courses that I messed up,
Yeah.
or I can just start in 9th grade.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a fresh start.
Right.
Kind of have, like, a whole new school, a whole new state, everything.
Yeah.
So I started my private school in Dublin Christian Academy in 9th grade. It's a boarding school in New Hampshire. And it was an experience.
Oh yeah.
For
I'm
sure.
sure.
I know a lot of people think, oh, it's a Christian school. That's great. It's going to be like free from all the things you worry about your kids going to private school, public
Nope.
school. And honestly, it's
Unfortunately not,
no, yeah, so, yeah,
because
and not that
there
like they
is-
encourage and they try to make it better.
Yeah,
There's a
absolutely.
school. It's not
There's-
their fault, but they're
Right.
high school students
yeah.
who are. Some of them were sent there because their parents are like, I can't handle you, or think
Yeah.
it's like a military school, but it's not. It's a
Right.
private Christian
I'm
school.
going to send
so
you to this private Christian school
exactly,
so you can get
you're
fixed.
punished. So, but
Yeah. And it is kind of sad that, like, you know, here's an opportunity for students to really grasp their faith and learn at the same
Sure.
time and try to get away. And not that it's like,
and
I would say that there, unfortunately, it does some of the things that do happen in public schools, private schools. It is scaled higher in public schools.
Sure.
And it's not as bad, if you will,
yeah.
in a private Christian school, but it still gets in. And
Sure.
that's where, like, I've heard the argument of people saying, you know, I'll only send my kids to private school because I want to protect them, and there is an element of that, yes.
Sure, but when they
there's-
find it, they're gonna find it twice as hard.
yeah,
It's gonna like be, oh, this is something new to me, and
right,
clearly it's here at a Christian school, so I'm gonna do it
yeah,
or whatnot. And
Yeah.
or you know what, as a kid, like as a student, I was being told no, I couldn't do this. Made me want to do it.
Mhm.
That's just the human nature.
yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
no, I can't do it. I'm gonna do it.
yeah,
But anyway, getting back to the whole thing, I send my kids to a the charter school, the
it's
Lutheran.
like, yeah,
it's between
basically
private and
it's
charter.
that private public line.
And the benefits that me and my wife had talked about was that they are getting taught Christian values at the school. And now, between me and you, and I'm pretty sure most people listening understand that I'm a little bit more of a liberal Christian. As I've grown up, I've kind of moved sideways, not into like liberal territory, but to like more liberal faith, I guess. We could talk about what that means later at a different point. But what I'm saying is that we kind of pay attention to what's being taught to our kids, no matter where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they were in a private school or a public school, you want to learn what they're learning and be like, hold on, it's not really what we believe, or like think about it. Tell them, like, think through this. Does this make sense?
Right,
We want to make sure we know what our kids are learning,
absolutely.
and it still stands firm in Christian schools and whatnot, because it's not you teaching them. And I guess that's the benefit of homeschool.
Yeah,
If you really want to keep that easily maintained, you can be homeschooling your kids, and
Right.
then they'll learn exactly what you want to teach them. But me and Nina agreed that we want our kids to be our kids and with their own people. So I don't want them to be mini Scots, because I don't know if the world needs one of me as opposed to two of me.
We
but we're doing our
definitely
best to
need
teach.
one of you.
I know. We're doing our best to teach them that the right way for them to grow up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is important at any school to learn what they're learning.
Right. And that's why, like, I know there's certain answers to parenting that are very clear.
Yeah.
Like, this is right, this is wrong. But when it comes to something like the school topic, like, I feel like as long as a couple or as a family unit, because I know there's a lot of families that are broken and sadly, but as long as the family unit can come to an agreement that, you know, this is why we're doing this and this is how we're going to support it, and it's not just, well, this is like what everybody else does, so we're just going to do it.
Yeah.
There's no really a right or a wrong way, because regardless if you're in the public school system, the private school system, or the homeschool system, because now they have systems. Like when I was a kid, it was like my mom had to go online and buy all the curriculum.
All the books. Yeah, Abeka, did you do that?
Yep.
It's the good old Christian homeschool book.
It's so funny that you said that. But now they have like cohorts and stuff, which is
exactly.
so cool.
Yep.
Like,
a lot of
it helps that, number one, helps the kids in their very real need to be socialized.
And which was, to be honest, it is a stigma of the homeschoolers,
Yes.
right? That's the word.
Yeah.
Is that they're not social, they're weird.
Like when I tell
to
people,
be fair, sometimes it's true. They're different because it's all they have. But if you're homeschooling your kids and you're doing it your way, whatever way is right, you could be socializing. They could have lots of extracurriculars. They could have church friends, stuff like that, and you'd never even know. I've encountered both of those homeschool groups, and usually the ones that are noticeably different in social aspects are single like kids, like the solos that don't have brothers or sisters, and
because having that sibling support definitely but that's true in public schools as well.
Sure is. Yeah,
there's it's that dynamic of it, which is so cool, like how siblings affect in a good way, well, sometimes bad way, but
socially they almost always affect positively in a social aspect,
right? Which is so interesting.
So have more than one kid.
Don't look at me. But yeah, it's a I don't know, I feel like some people get real uptight about like the public school versus private school versus homeschool, and I agree that, you know, there's certain things at some public schools that I experienced that I don't really know if I want Rylan to be in that environment. And Lane and I we're not at that like decision making. I mean, Rylan's only one. Like, we still have realistically 4 years until we'd be thinking, well, 3 years until we'd be thinking about kindergarten.
3K in our town, I'll have you know, this is a me and you thing. 3K is only offered through St. James at the time. It might change.
Yeah.
It might not. But that's why we started at St. James, because we threw Emily into 3K.
You didn't throw her, but
I threw her physically. I said, "Get out of the car!" A 3-year-old just yeeted.
But I don't know. I've really been like, you know, like, as much as I like the idea of some elements of the public school when it comes to like sports and I shouldn't say just sports, because there's a lot of extracurriculars that come with the public school system, just naturally. But there's also a lot that come with a private school like St. James. St. James has a lot that they do. They do,
and
which is really cool.
My children are still kind of young for the St. James stuff, but
so I don't know. We've toyed around with, you know, which would we do, and I'm like, I don't know.
You're gonna stay home and homeschool.
I don't know, like, because it's a lot of time, and like I love the dynamic that it brings with when you have a bigger family, because Lainey and I have talked about, you know, potentially trying to have a bigger family, not massive, but
you can adopt me.
Yeah. But just I don't know. And the one thing that like I'm gonna be firm on is, you know, I shouldn't say the public school system is broke. I know some people say that, we need to completely redo how schooling
There's some
works
issues currently in local public schooling.
Yeah.
Our public school system is working through things right now.
But
which is a shame because, real quick, when we moved here, it was doing great and we were excited about it.
Yeah.
And then in the past couple of years, it started to go down, and it's like, ooh, like we're keeping an eye on it and seeing what's happening and stuff. And it's not encouraging.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's nowhere to go but up, so that's not bad news.
And it's going up pretty, like we've had meetings with some people, and it's been really good.
Yeah, you're a little bit more on the inside. We have to watch from like Inside outside.
Inside outside, yeah. Inside outside outside inside. What's that from?
I
That's
have no idea.
It's some like patty cake game. Anyways, what
That must be some weird homeschool game.
Oh, here we go. But no, one thing that I've seen, and partially because my dad was a high school math teacher for 27 years, so
Ooh.
he saw a lot, and we didn't go to his school. My brother did for 2 years, and then he transferred to the high school that I ended up going to with him. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I am encouraged by, I guess, that schools are starting to do, regardless, like I don't know if St. James is working some of this in, or some of the other private schools, but the whole STEM idea, the science, technologies, engineering, and mathematics, and just how beneficial some of those things are. That I know, like, not that the school system is broke the way it is, but I definitely think that there's ways that, as society has progressed, like if you'd be blind to think that society hasn't progressed between the school model that was created however many hundreds of years ago, that has changed to where it is now. But there's also kids that I feel like are slipping through the cracks of the typical school model that, and I like the idea of, well, let them learn what they want to learn, but it's also like, but there's also areas that you need to learn things that you want to learn, or that you don't necessarily, don't want to learn, but you need to learn. Like, I could care less that my comma is in the wrong spot at times. I'm not an English person.
No.
And I know that I'm going to have to get corrected on it, and sometimes I just don't even put a comma in.
But it is important to know how to speak.
Right, exactly.
And how to communicate, because that's important in any aspect. So
right, but that
that's
idea
a big part of
that STEM
language
of
arts.
like getting kids plugged into this that are geared that way, so that they can it sets you up for when you're in college, or even like, because it's I think STEM is typically high school centered.
Okay.
I don't remember hearing about it in more of the middle school world, but definitely high school, because my dad actually went to he's able to go on a trip to Singapore for free that the public school system paid for, so that they could learn how to implement that into the school system.
Okay. So they taught the schools in Singapore.
No, the schools in Singapore taught them.
Well, that's so much
how
fun
to do this.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, but it's just it's an interesting dynamic that I think, or not dynamic, but interesting transition, I guess, that hopefully we'll see that, get not that like, I don't think that college level or college thinking of class picking and that level of stuff should be in like middle school and high school. And to some degree it is, because like I remember being in high school and getting to pick like which gym class I wanted to be in, if I wanted to do art, if I wanted
I didn't get to do that. Well, we get to pick like basic paths in my private school. It's like you have to take these classes, and then when you're a junior and senior, if you wanted to continue in science, like we took physics, I did personally. You can get Spanish 3, you had to take 1 and 2, or French 1 and 2.
Right.
And or else you do like a study hall or something. Yeah. And it's like no one wants to do that really. Maybe one study hall in your day, but you need to pick other classes, right?
Right. So, but it'll be interesting to see where Lainey and I land. I haven't really.
You got time.
Yeah, we got time. I'm not like we got to figure this out now. But I mean, with everything going around, and just like what the school system has faced the past couple of years, and there's definitely a trajectory up, which is awesome to see. But also just like, well, what do we want our kids to learn? And that's the biggest thing. And not that like you'll learn more at a private school than you will at a public school. I'm not saying that at all, and I wouldn't say it vice versa. And I wouldn't say that you learn more in homeschool, because it really truly depends on the teachers. Number one, obviously, and the students'
learning abilities, what they do,
and the parents.
Yeah,
like it's a trifecta that like and it's kind of like, I think some people think of the school systems, regardless of what system it is like you're gonna push your kid into it and they're gonna teach your kid exactly how to learn. But it's not like, as parents, we have to reinforce that learning aspect. Like, hey, what are you learning today?
Exactly.
Especially like when it comes to the faith aspect, like, because we want we don't want to be having our kids learn just.
And when I
Joe
mentioned
Schmo's
that earlier, I
theology.
did kind of point it at Faith when I said you need to make sure they know what they're learning.
Yeah.
But it means everything, you know.
Yeah.
Nowadays, this is a joke, by the way. The kids, they're learning math, like the Common Core stuff that I have no idea about. I have zero clue.
I can't understand. I love math.
Yeah.
And I hate Common Core.
I don't get it.
I don't understand. Anyways.
I always thought I was somewhat okay at math too, and then they're like, "This is how you do this," and I was like, "No, okay."
Yeah, I'm probably.
I was
gonna
like,
get
"You
in
teach me
trouble.
first."
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get in trouble if
Yeah.
they're still doing that because I'm gonna be like, no, this isn't how you're gonna learn. But
Yeah.
might have to. But perfect example of like our job as a dad.
Yep.
When your kids are in school is to help them.
Yeah.
Hey, like that's one of the things that I loved about being like my parents. Not only did my dad have a degree in obviously like whatever he needed to get to be able to be a high school math teacher. Like I can't remember exactly what all of his degrees were. But my mom also had some background in teaching as well.
Yeah.
And so but being able to come home and like if I had questions about stuff, talk to my parents, they would walk through it with us.
Good.
But just that dynamic and how it kind of works into the question that Jonah asked.
Yeah.
Of like,
what do you want to do for your parents?
Yeah, what do I want to do when Rylan comes home with questions? And I know it's different with every situation. Every situation is unique with, if working second shift or whatever.
Sure.
But the simple truth that, hey, being there for them and helping them through the process, like that's key. And it's a necessity. So
another thing that I'd be remiss not to mention is keeping kids safe.
Oh, yeah.
And in this day and age, with the amounts of, God forbid, shootings in schools that happens around the nation, and unfortunately, apparently just our nation.
Yeah.
We're not really going to get too far into this, but that's my number one priority with my children, and I look at what's the safest thing for them, and I want them to be alive when they come home. But I also want them to be feel like they're safe at school. It's a safe place. They're there. What is it, 40 hours a week or something ridiculous? Not 40.
No, it would be because it's
7, 8.
It's easily 30, maybe.
Yeah, that's 8 hours a day. That's 40.
Yeah.
8 times 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want it to be a safe place. I want them to feel comfortable being at a school, and that's what we've looked at. Is the public school going to do that for them? Do they have friends there? And at this point, I feel like my kids are kind of set in their way, staying at St. James, riding it out until that school ends, which is in the middle school. After the middle school. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I wanted to mention safety.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I know that RJ is only one. He's pretty safe at home, I think.
Yeah.
But
no, that's definitely a huge aspect when it comes to that decision. Especially where the world is today, sadly, or where the mental health in our nation is.
Sure.
Really. Unfortunately, but safety is definitely like.
Yeah. So. As I was taking notes, they were all in my brain this week. I think it's funny. Like last week, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna write notes every week," and I didn't write any notes this week. But in my brain, I was like, the important things are like the education they're getting.
Absolutely.
As parents, going over the education they're getting and making sure they're not learning anything wildly wrong in school and believing it just at a whim and not mentioning it when you find out, like, oh, you think aliens ate your breakfast when Dad had the extra pancake this morning? There's something weird and wild. And then 3 is safety for kids.
Yeah.
And
then also I would add into that like the socialization aspect too, because I think
important.
that's huge. Like whether you are homeschooling kids, like there's nothing wrong with it, but I think adding, as long as supplementing, that's weird to say, but adding in some kind of socialization, because kids need that.
Yeah.
Like it's in their psyche their growth. They have to. But just, and obviously in a private school and public school, it's already kind of built in.
Yeah.
But just that dynamic of that socialization that is so huge and pivotal. And yeah.
I had a little story here at the end about socialization. An important thing that I think is that kids don't get along.
No.
There are kids in classes that you're like, oh, that kid's not my friend.
Yep.
And we kind of ran into that with Emily this year in 2nd grade. It's starting to get a little bit more opinionated between kids. And kids join cliques and whatnot. Like, these are my friends, these aren't my friends. And there was a girl that consistently picked on her and in ways that she felt really like picked on.
Mm-hmm.
But it might not, like me looking at it on the outside, I was like, yes, Emily's feelings are hurt, but it's just the kid talking. Like she might not even realize she's hurting her feelings.
Yeah.
So when Emily figured this out and she brought it up to her and talked to her about it, the kid stopped doing this, and it was really encouraging to see that, like I wouldn't know if they're friends now per se, or they're second grade friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like if she doesn't pick on me anymore, she's my best friend. So. But like she turned it around. She came to her birthday party. Like Emily invited her to her birthday party, and they had a blast, and it was cool to see. And it's just really encouraging. Yeah, and it's like they're learning how to be social and what's the rights, what's the wrongs, what's natural to happen. Like people don't get along sometimes.
Yep.
Sometimes it's
and unfortunately
just opinions or personalities that just don't mesh.
Absolutely.
And it's cool to see that she's figuring that out at 8. Yeah. And because she went through that, Olivia's starting to realize it too. And she's like, oh, there's some kids in my class that are mean or that just do things different that I don't like. And it's like, okay, they might think you're mean. Not that she's being mean.
No, right. Yeah, but helping them learn and understand that
people are different.
People are different.
Right.
Yeah, and people are going to have different opinions.
Which is a huge social aspect of being in a public school because... I'm not saying that homeschool, like with a brother or sister, they know they're different and they pick on each other incessantly anyway. Yeah. And they love each other, they hate each other, but they know at the end of the day they're sisters. For my kids, they're like, all right, we got to go to bed. We're sleeping right next to each other. I guess we love each other. This is it. So,
but yeah, definitely teaching, like that's so huge, is helping teach not that you have to like be best friends with everybody. I mean, but the Bible's clear that, we're to love everybody. Now, does that mean we can't have preferences? I mean, I talked about this with the teenagers a couple weeks ago. Like, does that mean that we can't have preferences of who we enjoy to hang out with? Sure. Yes, but does that mean that we just don't show the human decency of love towards everyone?
Now, hold on, let me go get my hot heaping coals and I'll dump them on your head. Of love, my heaping love coals. Yeah, that's not it.
No, it's we're called to love everyone.
Yep.
Yes, but with the understanding that some people we just won't get along with, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that we just write them off and we don't smile at them. We don't treat them with respect. We
treat them like you'd be living in New England. You don't talk to them in an elevator. You don't wave and smile when you're in the grocery store. You don't say goodbye for 45 minutes.
But yeah, it's definitely that's a hot topic, especially in today's day and age of helping kids understand that it's okay that this person, maybe they don't like the way that you did your hair or something.
And it's okay not to invite them to your birthday party. This is where it all stemmed from. She felt guilty. She's like, everyone's going to come. It's like, well, if you and her don't get along, don't invite her to your birthday party. We don't want you to not have fun at your birthday because something there is different that you don't want to happen.
Right.
But still love. Yeah. And she's figuring that out.
And now person came to the party.
Well, yeah. Well, because then they had repaired the bridge before, and then she's like, I think I want to invite her. Yeah. And we're like, that is really big of you, Emily. Yeah. And very good job. And then she invited her.
That's the point of, helping
kids
understand that even if they're not friends next week.
Correct.
Right? But that showing the love of, hey, I know we don't 100% get along and we maybe get along a little bit. I still want you at my party. And but
definitely encouraging to see.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Well, this is a different topic today. It's a little bit more of the dad realm instead of the get to know you.
Yeah, which we're going to be continuing in these kind of topics. We'll find things to talk about and just a discussion between me and Andrew about what our opinions are. You can write down in the comments below if you were homeschooled, if you're private schooled or public schooled. I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to make a joke about homeschooling. It's like, no.
It's always a joke. There's always a...
let us know. And if you're a parent and you're got some encouragement for other parents, let us know in the comment down below.
Yeah, or just like Jonah, if you have any questions or recommendations, send us an email and
shoot us an electronical mail.
Yeah, or you can drop it in the
Hebrews
comments.
Podcast at Gmail.
Yup. And we'd love to answer your questions, and it's exciting. We've got some cool stuff in the works.
Yes, more coffee.
More coffee. We'll have to think of a new way, or not a new way, but a different way to make coffee, or maybe we can
think of a new way. Let's invent it.
Invented.
I'd chew it up and spit it into your
Oh
mouth.
no, I am not getting a Mama Bird.
Mama Bird. Is that a real thing already?
No,
Okay.
that's Mama Bird coffee. Well, that's what Mama Birds do.
I know. You said it so quickly that I was like, maybe someone's
Mama
done
Bird
that.
coffee.
I
No,
wouldn't put it
thank
past people.
That's
Anyway,
true. We
thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Hopefully our banter doesn't frighten you.
yeah.
So
We will see you next week.
next
at
week, Thursday,
5 a.m.
5 a.m. every Thursday. Tune on in here. Thanks, guys.
See ya.